All right, that's good. Hey, everybody, this is Podcastforwe, podcast for us, as well as a podcast for you, the viewer or listener, depending how you're doing your thing. I'm your host, K-Dog. It's your other host, Evil Maximus, also known as Ember, also a.k.a. Kevin, also a.k.a. People, talking on a podcast. So I just wanted to get into it. We have two topics I wanted to get down. Which one do you want to go first? You want to go Star Wars or you want to go the other one?
Either one's good, man. We were treated this week.
Yes, we were. Let's do Mandalorian since it's fresher in my head.
All right.
What'd you think? What? Oh shit!
You're falling. No.
All right. What? Spoil alert for anyone who hasn't seen.
Oh
this.
yeah.
If you haven't seen Tenet or if you haven't seen fucking Mandalorian or Clone Wars or anything Star Wars, yeah, this isn't the podcast for you. All right, let's get after it real quick.
I enjoyed the shit out of it.
Let's just talk about the episode and then let's go into the whole season.
Okay.
All right. So so Mandalorian season. So the date's December 21st, 2020. We have recently seen the Mandalorian season 2, episode 8. I guess it was chapter 16. And what are your thoughts? Your initial thoughts?
I thought it was a great way to end the season, man. I feel like they almost could end the series right there.
It felt like it, right?
With all the other things that they have going on, I honestly think they should take a year off of Mandalorian, explore these other things, and then come back for season 3 in 2022 on time. It should be an October start because right now I think they're going to say season 3 is going to start in December.
Which is legit.
Yeah, I think they should take a year off. You know, maybe have Mando appear like as a crossover in like Ahsoka or something. You know,
oh, that'd be cool. World build a little.
Yes, they should definitely do it Marvel style. They're gonna do what Disney wanted to do. What DC wanted to do. You know, what a bunch of other people want to do, they just don't know how. And I think it's a great idea to bring Jon Favreau in because he kind of knows how to kick that shit off.
Well, I have to say for David Fillion to be part of it.
Dave Filoni.
Yeah, Filoni. I always say Fillion because I'm thinking of Nathan Fillion. Just for him alone by himself, he has the talent to achieve a end game kind of move.
Yeah.
Because if you watch Clone Wars, Rebels, and shit, he perfectly manages to link all this shit in. Even though he's not like the main progenitor of all this, he is able to put the right pieces together.
Well, I was watching some stuff. I did see a picture of, it's probably nothing, but it was Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and the Russo brothers on set of The Mandalorian.
But why?
Because they're Marvel buddies, right? You know? Fucking Jon Favreau, and it's like, hey,
oh yeah, there's that. Oh, I see.
So they're probably just visiting the set, but
you had the A fucking team, AAA team.
Fuck,
I mean,
man.
Jesus
Get the
Christ.
Russos in there to write some film.
I have to give it to them. I think it was a good move to. Well, maybe we should recap the episode. So basically, Mando he gets with his team. They infiltrate the ship to get the fucking baby Yoda. There's a fight. A Jedi comes out, fucks everybody up, and he lets the baby Yoda go with Luke Skywalker, which is the plot, like I guess a plot twist, I guess, or maybe it's a big reveal. I don't know.
Yeah, I would call it a reveal more than a twist.
Yeah, it's not a twist. There's only I think at that time of Return of the Jedi afterwards, there's only maybe 2-3 Jedi that are able to train Baby Yoda. One said no, that's Ahsoka. Ezra Miller, who we don't know what he's doing, and then Luke Skywalker. Yeah, Bridger Miller, the Flash. Yeah, the Flash came to that reality. He would fuck everybody up. So it had to be Luke.
I'm glad it was Luke. He would be like the guy, right? I mean, he's a Skywalker. I mean, he's the dude. He trained with Yoda he was there when Yoda passed. He was trained by Obi-Wan. Ahsoka also got that good shit too, and trained with Vader in a sense, but I think universe-wise, I mean story-wise, canon-wise, it's gotta be Luke.
Right. It could have been anyone else. And like if they really wanted to like, I don't know, social justice that shit, they would have done yeah, they would have made it like what's her name?
So
Leia.
on that whole, woke thing or social justice thing. So I'm watching, and then I'm watching that squad, that fire team of 4 going through there, fucking everybody up, helping each other out, I'm like, man, they're bad. It's all girls. I was like, yes, that's the fucking way to do it. Because it was a badass girl squad kicking the shit out of everybody.
Yeah, it was Fennec who just appeared out of nowhere, really. I mean, like honestly, she's just there. No.
Yes,
She's not just there.
I mean, she was
in the show.
But she was planted back in the middle of season 1.
I agree. But she does it is a bit of a right to just have her there, It's
I think it's still cool though. I
agree.
It's organic and it's earned. It's not like we just threw everybody on one side of the field and
No, I agree. No. But, I agree. No. What I'm saying, Fennec just being there, but before that even scene occurs, her just being in the show, it was like there was. So she appears in one episode in season 1, and she dies, and then you see some boots. It turns out it's Boba Fett that saves her, and they're like a team. And I have a feeling though, it would have been more earned if they had already got the Book of Boba Fett coming out, which is like that's a thing at the end. But if they had shown their journey together, and then she's there, because really it is one episode, and then she's there, and for some reason she's like hardcore about this guy because he saved her, and I just like whatever. I accept it. I mean, it's not bad.
She was on a death sentence going into that,
Yeah.
And not only did he save her life, but he also freed her from that death sentence, because it was one of those things where even if she had survived, she probably still would have had the bounty on her head, dead or alive.
I guess
she was a bounty.
So I'm not saying that it's bad writing. I just said that like it felt like
if she had been part of the universe longer, blah 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 blah.
If she had like this is, and I don't know why they don't do this, but that's the beauty of montages. You can input so much data in a montage, because their montage was just basically his boots, and then she's there. Like if they just
but she's not there in this episode. This is the third episode of the season that she's already.
I know. I'm just saying, like just to clean it up, what they should have did was a montage of him saving her, them fighting together and shit, and they're like besties, and that's why she's not leaving his side. That kind of bullshit.
You can assume. I think that's something you can assume, though.
You can,
or they'll flash it back in Book of Boba.
Of course they.
You need to call it Book of Boba Fett, not Book of Boba, because then it's like Book of How to Make Boba.
Yeah, I thought it was Book of Boba Fett.
It just said Book of Boba, I think.
Whatever. I mean, the danger of just assuming, and not assuming in the general thing, but just saying, your fans are totally going to get it. You lend yourself to more of that first 3 Star Wars.
Yeah, but you also don't lock yourself into anything either.
Yeah, but if you just have a fucking montage to clean it up, then you could say, oh, they've had time.
I don't think it needed any cleaning up though, Kev. I don't know.
My thing is, if you start cutting corners now, you start cutting corners later.
No,
depending on
it might have been in there, but it might not have been. They might not have been able to afford it or whatever.
It's not
because
hard
for
to make
a montage. You still need to set up all those sets and everything. You still need to have all those scenes, and then you clip them.
Montage. You just have to have them back to back shooting, and then like saying like we spent all this time together or whatever. I'm just saying, when you start cutting corners like that, you start running into more of that first 3 Star Wars.
I don't think you needed it.
Okay, but, so she's in one episode, then she appears in the other. That's what you have, and it's Fennec.
She's in one episode, then she appears in another, then another, and then this.
No, I know, but she's just there. Like Fennec isn't really a character; she's just fucking there. Not like in the way
No,
Boba Fett is.
No, she's there. She had a bounty on her head, and I want to say it
In
was
that
from
one
the Fett.
episode.
It was on Tatooine, probably put up by the Fets. And so Boba Fett kind of probably made a deal with her. Hey,
See, no, you're doing a Filoni thing. You're just
we
is it
don't
Filoni?
know. That's why
Yeah, I know.
the book of Boba's gonna come up, you know? And so it's one of those things where you'll be able to watch that story and then realize, okay, that's a lot more powerful here. It's like it's like when I talked about Inception and I mentioned that Leonardo DiCaprio's character said at the very beginning he didn't like trains. You don't find out until 2 hours later why he doesn't like trains. So it's one of those things like on a rewatch, you'll get more of the flavor for it.
If you rewatch this entire show, the both seasons, there's still no Fennec. It's just there. She's just fucking there. Now the drop trooper, good God, do they give her time? They built her up in the first season and they expanded her in the second season.
I think you're trying to say that
Bill Burr has more
important of a character as like Bo-Katan, you know, or
Bo-Katan was the guy who got Boba Fett's armor, right?
No, Bo-Katan is the girl with the head thing and the red head.
Oh shit, she's got a whole Clone Wars fucking
thing.
You're
fucking fired, bitch.
Yeah, okay. they built her up like big time in the fucking
I know
Clone Wars.
So yeah, she's a big character to be there, but whatever.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking.
My point was, you know, they were able to do, you know, strong females without being in your face about it, and it was more organic than how they did it in Endgame.
I agree. I just I just had a gripe with Fennec. That's all. She doesn't have any really like a buildup as opposed to all the other characters.
Well, this is part of her buildup. I mean, this will be part of her buildup. Everybody has to start somewhere. I mean, nobody starts and then they start with a backstory, but then it's like, well, then
each one of those characters have a backstory. Every single character on that ship has a backstory and then some. Fennec's the only one who's just kind of there.
The other girl that's with Bo-Katan.
You can work that in, dude, because she's with Bo-Katan.
Okay, well, the other girl's with Boba Fett.
She's not a Boba Fett. Fennec is not a Boba Fett.
Fennec is with Boba Fett.
Yeah. I know. I'm just saying they could have fleshed it out more. I just hope, because I've seen this before when you write really good, right? And then you kind of skip some beats, you know? And it starts with the trickle, and then it becomes a rush, you know? And then
they did that in Game of Thrones. They did that in Game of Thrones. Where they started the way you should with good pacing. Then it started speeding up, which was good, and then it went way too fast in the last two seasons.
I know. Well, that's the thing. That's the kind of thing I saw that was my only gripe was Fennec just being there. You know what I mean? Like without like a good montage or something like that to really because like each character that was on that ship really, you could even argue the black chick with Bo-Katan that had like there's something there, but each character had something to them, like a value to them, and they're there. And then Fennec, I was just like, she really just kind of appeared, you know, and then she's with Boba Fett. And Boba Fett has a level to him, you know, and he's out.
But not everybody's going to be at Boba Fett level or at Bo-Katan level or at Mandalorian level or at Grogu level. You're always going to
or what's her name? The dropship lady. I'm just saying, if we just had an episode kind of like pushing why they're together more.
We'll get more.
No, I get
asking a lot for.
I'm not. Just a little montage. That's all I'm asking.
You hate montage. You're the one that's always bitching about montages.
I don't know if I've ever complained about a montage.
Yeah,
ever.
The Tenet montage. You complained about. Why do I need to see him working out and the other guy's training? I'm like.
I can explain that, but let's just okay.
We'll
put a pin on that one because I want to stray out. So wait. Let's get into some Star Wars real quick.
So Luke Skywalker coming out.
Deepfake.
I saw online that people are giving him grief over how it looked.
Yeah,
it looks like a deep fake to me, but that's Mark Hamill on set.
Like he was really there.
He was really there.
They de-aged him or something, or
so I think. What I would have hoped that they would have done would deep fake him on himself.
Okay.
Because I've seen deep fakes that look way better than like the de-aging that they did in Tron, obviously, because that was a long time ago.
I've seen the Tron one. It was pretty good.
The Tron one was good. Watch the one with Moff Tarkin. From
I've seen that. That's pretty good.
That one
I've seen that.
Really
I've seen
good.
Han Solo when they swapped out.
Oh, when they put in Harrison Ford. Yes.
Yeah, that's really good.
Now that's some really good shit done by independent studios that also post on YouTube. I really feel like they should have gone to those guys to try and do this one because it was.
I know.
But here's the thing. So John Favreau, and I'm willing to give this dude latitude on it, right? He kind of came out afterwards and said, "Look, we couldn't involve too many people in this part of the project because you involve too many people, it leaks like fucking wildfire."
Yeah, he's right.
So when I'm thinking, hey, they could have gone to one of these other independent studios that have done it really well. You don't have full control over those guys, and it might leak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
So they did it in house. They don't have a whole lot of success with it. I mean, Disney did Tron and that, whatever, you know. But I was okay with it because he didn't have to do a whole lot. If you think story's the most important thing, fucking Luke Skywalker showed up.
Yeah.
In his X-Wing, kicking ass with his green lightsaber in his gloved hand, wearing the same fucking little belt and black robe.
But that's not.
You look like in Return of the Jedi.
That to me didn't signal story, more of fan service. But I put a caveat to that. They had an entire show of Clone Wars of fucking Jedi just owning robots left and right, owning them, right? And here you got, fast forward to now, they ain't no Jedi. They're just not. In fact, to the point where people are calling them sorcerers because they've been out of the picture for the last, 20 years? After 20 years. So everyone's seen some shit. They don't know what Jedi are. So when these robots come to play, and this doctor, young doctor, by the way, he goes, yeah, we took the human element. It's all about robots. Even though you had, maybe 10 years of robots fighting this whole time. This is the new thing, but fuck it. You got robots. And they demonstrate how badass these robots are by fucking our main character. And they're just unstoppable. They just can't be beaten. And then you have Luke Skywalker come in and he fucking owns them. And at one glance, you could say, oh, they're just fucking doing fan service. They fucking Jedi. They're not that bad. But fucking, I mean, you got an entire fucking 30 years of fucking Jedi owning robots. Period. From the 3 movies to the 2 shows. I mean, that's a lot of fucking material of Jedi fucking robots up. And you never would have thought, Jedi were that badass because you see them so much, right? But they made them kind of special in this, I feel.
I thought it was special that he showed up, but I felt like the music should have been way amped up.
I know. You said that in the text. You were like, and I agreed with you.
I was waiting for, when a song, it's going, and then it has a drop, and then it starts fucking going crazy.
Why didn't they do that?
I don't
because he has a theme. Luke has a theme.
And then one of our homies was like, well, the music was foreboding because he was using dark. He's not using dark force powers. The force.
Oh yeah, what was that about? Who was saying that? Wedo?
It was Wedo.
About him crushing somebody, a robot.
Now, crushing somebody is different than crushing something, and a lot of whether or not something is dark side or light side flows from whether or not you're taking a life or saving a life, or trying to do the right thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Force lightning, that's a kill power, that's dark side.
Yeah.
Well,
you got your Star Wars 9 though.
What do you mean?
You know what? No, she does inadvertently. It's like when Rey shoots the lightning and she destroys that one ship. She literally kills those people on that ship.
So my thing about Rey, if that's even still canon, what they were going with for her was, since she's raw and untrained, right? She could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Anakin could have gone, just like Grogu could go, because he did force choke, and so did Luke in Episode 6. So I don't know, but the thing about Rey was they were trying.
Who does Luke? I've heard that's the second time you said that. Who does Luke choke?
When he walks into Jabba's palace.
Okay.
And those two warthog guys come up.
Yeah.
Chokes
I thought he pushes them. I didn't know he choked them. I thought he pushed them.
They grab their throats. So they're like, oh, and they back up and then they hit the ground.
Okay. All right. But whatever on that though.
A force choke if it's a force choke to incapacitate.
Yeah.
Versus
I never.
kill,
yeah.
know?
when Weddle said that, I was like, that's a non-thing. Like he's the
Yeah.
only one who's saying that, and I was just like, oh, because Luke crushes a robot with the Force, which was, by the way, fan service. There's no reason for him to do it. None.
No,
It's
he
not like
could've
he's
just-
yeah, it's not like he's intimidating. Like he's not intimidating anybody. That's all. The only reason you would do that, unless you didn't have your lightsaber. But he had his lightsaber. You could have pushed him. You could have cut him. He was doing everything.
Well,
He didn't need.
who knows? Who knows what he's been doing in the 5 years since? This could have been like, damn, I finally got a chance to practice some moves on some real
Maybe.
enemies that are trying to kill me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so I mean,
Maybe.
we've done it. You know, when you're playing somebody Tekken and they're not that good, then you try some things that you wouldn't do if you're playing against Adrian or something. You know.
It's hard. It's hard to transcribe human emotions to a Jedi because a Jedi is a little bit different from a human. They have the Force, and the thing that separates a Jedi amongst
No.
the person.
I'm not saying to gloat. No. I'm not saying to gloat. I'm not saying like when
No,
you,
not even for training, because you're talking about a guy who learned a lifetime of Jedi powers and skills in a short amount of time, which is unheard of because once again, all the Jedi, who they are, just to be average, they have to be trained from a baby.
Yeah.
That's the way they are. But Luke, in his infinite fucking way, because he doesn't become bad, he just doesn't. Well, as far as we know, maybe there's a 10-year gap of him being an asshole, but as far as we know, he is one of the perfect Jedis, and he learned it in such a small amount of time because he's got to learn not to fucking go to the dark side. He's got to learn, because like what I like about Star Wars is it really does. Well, in Mandalorian, it really does push it, and Clone Wars too. They really push this narrative. You know, you got all this fucking power. I mean, if you start getting angry and shit, you could just accidentally give people strokes just with the power of the Force. You're moving things. If I could move a fucking car, I'm pretty confident I could totally just, give you a stroke. You know what I mean? Or a heart attack. I mean, what stops them from not doing that, you would say?
And it's the blood vessel in somebody's brain.
Yeah. I mean, or rip their eyeballs out. I mean, like seriously, there's nothing to stop them from doing that. And I would argue that the Sith don't do it because they want to destroy you utterly. So they don't have the nuance to tear an eyeball out or some shit like that. But the Jedi, they could do that, but they won't because they're good guys, all around, inadvertently.
Well, yeah, I didn't think he was using dark side powers.
I know. I was like,
when the X-wing cruised in and Grogu, I mean, I was like, maybe they're teasing us, but it's just one X-wing. When it's just one X-wing showing up, it's usually Luke.
Oh, I knew it was Luke. As soon as I saw the X-wing, I'm like, there ain't no way.
I knew it was Luke too, because like he called somebody when he put his hand on the screen. I was like, okay, it's Luke. It's Luke.
Yeah.
If Rian Johnson was directing this motherfucker.
Oh yeah, dude.
Jar Jar Binks would have jumped out or some shit.
Yeah, no, not even Jar. It'd be a female Jar Jar Binks just to spite us for no fucking reason. And he had purple hair. I don't know, just some like you're right. Rian Johnson will fuck it up, dude. Whoever made this one was good. Dude, yeah, God, dude, that would really suck. We were joking.
I think it was the director of Ant-Man. I think it was the director of Ant-Man.
The second one or the first one?
The first one.
Which director? The first director or the second?
No, the one that ended up doing it. Yeah, the one that ended up doing it right. Because he also directed. He directed an earlier episode that had a giant ant guy.
Ah, yeah.
He said he wanted a giant ant guy, Ant-Man.
I have to say, the directing was good. It was, I mean, but with what shows is just the stuff that came together to make this episode. I mean, like the perfect beats. Okay, so they have the one robot fight Mandalorian or Mando, right? And he is just getting
to show how badass they are.
Yeah. And then there's a ton of them. And then so like it wasn't needed to have been said, but I guess if you want to hammer it home, if one of them could beat you, can you imagine a whole fleet? I'll be the only one who walks away. Like at the Moff, whatever the fuck his name is, Gideon or whatever. Yeah. And then the robots are coming, and it looked really like, what the fuck are they gonna do? And then I was thinking like maybe Grogu was gonna destroy them or some shit.
No, but I thought either Boba Fett's gonna come back because he took off.
Yeah.
He's not there.
Yeah.
Either Boba Fett's gonna come back or a Jedi's gonna show up.
Yeah.
You know, because they had to pay off the scene on the Rock. I mean, they had to, right? I mean, it was like they have to. Um, yeah, and then when the
Well,
X-wing
I
came in,
could,
I'm like, it's Luke, and then he goes, it's fucking Luke, and then I
I
was
could,
waiting for Luke's music to come in because it's like,
why not?
right by this point, you know, I mean, anybody that's hardcore into this right now is a Star Wars fan and knows that Solo X-wing, Jedi and X-wing, it's Luke. Fucking give
Like,
us Luke's music.
yeah, why not? It's not like Luke's music is so like epic or anything like that, but Star Wars and music kind of go hand in hand. So fucking why not? You know, I guess I bet money it's not like I think it was a mistake. Like they didn't see it. It's just of all this shit that they got going on, that's just the one thing that kind of escaped them.
It needed to be rising, dude. The music was good at the beginning, and I was waiting for like a beat drop, and then for it to drop into fucking Star Wars, and it didn't. And I was like,
Yeah, the music took a kind of a back seat on this one. I did like the theme for the robots. At first, I was like, "This is
oh, that's
stupid,"
cool.
but
Yeah, I was cool with
it
it.
created a foreboding kind of thing. Once you heard it, you're like, "Oh, they're going Terminator on this." 'Cause that's
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
felt.
yeah.
That's what it kind of felt like. You know, it was cool. They even gave you a fucking good old fashioned good guy versus bad guy battle with him and the spear and the lightsaber. And I love that.
Yeah,
And
that was
then
cool.
yeah, just a lot of it was really good. That episode beat for beat was pretty good all around. A plus plus right there.
I like the mini twist of Mando getting the dark saber, trying to give it to Bo-Katan,
Yeah,
and
that
her
was
not wanting to
cool.
accept it.
That'll blow it up.
Even though she did accept it in, was it Clone Wars?
Clone Wars, yeah,
I think Sabine gives it to her,
yeah,
like hands it over to her, and she can
yeah,
accept it. But
yeah, yeah.
how I haven't seen it, I don't know what all the context is around that, her handing it over.
Yeah. Well, I think like she's trying to be, you know, it's funny too, her being honorable. So if you watch Clone Wars, she's hanging out with Death Watch, right? And these
Right.
fucking dudes took over a village, raped a bunch of women, and she's totally okay with it, you know? And then like, you know, Ahsoka comes and like it, okay, they're not showing rape, let's say, but they got all the guys' wives and shit, and then they kill the men in front of the guys. They keep the women as slaves. They literally say that. Then they burn the village down, and she was part of that. It's only until when her sister dies that she kind of moves towards, you know, trying to be a good guy, but she was rolling with some real bad dudes.
The problem here, you know, it, like if I were Bo-Katan, her real only ally on that ship is the girl that she came in with,
Yeah.
the other girl from
Yeah.
her clan.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, I could
You
try to
got
kill him right now and take it, but goddamn Cara Dune's gonna gun my ass down.
Yeah.
Or
Well, that's
fucking
cool.
Boba Fett's gonna, Fennec's gonna fuck me up. You know,
Yeah,
it's just,
you don't know if she's a good guy or a bad guy still. So that's kind of cool.
oh
Even when I
yeah,
saw her, when I fucking first saw her, I was like, oh, that's a bad guy. What's she doing
well,
there?
maybe not good guy or bad guy, just somebody else that has their own values and their own needs, which is really good writing, I think. It's not, it's almost like Crimson Tide. They're both good guys. You know, they're both, they both have a point, and they each have a way of exercising their job, or doing their job the way that they see that it needs to be done.
Enslaving a village and burning it down. I
Right,
mean,
right. If you haven't seen that, you're not coming from that.
no, but that's why they have her, though. They have her. Okay, why not have person A? You know what I mean? Just introduce a new. No, you introduced her because she's a Mandalorian from Mandalore in the Clone Wars, which that's where she has the greatest
But
presence.
was she a bad guy there?
Fuck yes! It gave Ahsoka Tano a reason to cut their heads off. I mean, she's literally cutting their heads off.
Yeah, but by the end of that show, is she a bad guy? Is she an
Well,
enemy of everybody?
You know, I mean, like, yeah, I guess she did. She never had a redemption.
Or is she a faction that they got to deal with? Like I'm thinking like Klingons. You know, sometimes they're the allies, sometimes they're not the allies.
Well, we're whatever on a group of people. I'm judging her based on her and the things she's done. You know what I mean? Like, so she's part of this team of Mandalorians who decided to enslave a fucking village and have their way with the women. And that's such a normal thing. And she's smiling about it too. And she's like, I'm bad too. Ugh. You
So
know,
do you think somewhere along the line she's gonna have to pay for what she's done?
I don't think they'll ever bring it up because later on, like in the Clone Wars of the 6, 7, 8, 9 seasons, I forgot how many. It's a lot. She ends up doing other things where it's never written for her to be redemptive. She just so happy. It's like if Anakin was like, I'm a good guy now. I killed kids. It's cool, but I'm a good guy now. And it's like they just kind of like gloss over it. And then she's there, she's doing things, and they wrote her as a neutral character. Like, yeah, like you were saying, like, yeah, she could do. But the only reason they got her is because she's like a strong female character who has a bit of history in Clone Wars. But I don't ever forget her roots, only because I watched this entire.
You watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing, and I was just like, oh, that, and like without understanding the implications, because they couldn't show these kids, these people rape people, but they were just like, yeah, we're gonna slave them out, like, and then like do this and that, and then it went so like they were that bad. So when Ahsoka Tano starts cutting their heads off, she kills like 4 of them in one go. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like those are people, not robots. She fucking just kills them. She could do all sorts of shit. She could push them, force choke them to sleep. Also, she decides to cut their heads off. And it's cool because they're bad guys and she's with them. And the only reason why she's not with them still is because they're all dead. Most of them were murdered by either Darth Maul or Ahsoka Tano. I mean, like, that's all it is. The only reason, yeah, that's it. That's fucking it. And then now she's a bad guy, neutral character, and no one's the wiser. Unless you're watching them actually rape a villager, then you could argue it away. Yeah, they were just saying that when they were burning the villagers' houses down and shit and killing them in front of their wives and laughing about it. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was a good episode. Me personally, great episode. I thought it was good. But I'll never forget where she came from.
Right.
But that's how they wrote her. And I know they're just going to gloss over and just going to keep doing that. You know what I mean? It's not like Boba Fett did anything bad. That's just the way it is.
They could go back to it.
That would be cool. I think that would be a brave thing to do, because how do you make someone like that redemptive?
Who in the universe right now knows about what she's done?
All right. See, Obi-Wan's dead. So no. Ahsoka Tano, she would know. But she was there in Death Watch. I mean, she was there. I think they were in, I don't know. I can't remember. But she was in Rebels. She's in Rebels. And there was never, and like it's a Jedi. So it's not like they, harbor feelings like revenge or anything like that. You did that to that one village.
Not revenge, but justice.
It is.
Yeah. You committed these crimes and there's a penalty for it.
They never go back to it. Because Ahsoka Tano firsthand saw this shit. In the village, she saw this shit. So they were gonna slave her out too, which is kind of weird. I don't know why. They captured a Jedi, but they did. And she was about to be sent as a slave, but she ends up getting her lightsaber, killing them all, and then escaping. And then it's all good, Dun, 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 dun. So like, if those two come into play, maybe that would be fucking great. If they could pay that off, I'd be happy. I doubt it, though. It's hard to make that redemptive. It just is. Once you start crossing the line, well,
I don't know. Redemptive. It just needs to be like Ahsoka just comes up and says, you know what? I wasn't strong enough before to call you out on this, but I am now.
Yeah.
And it's time to pay the piper.
It's funny, too, because they kind of did that with Anakin, if you think about it, right? Like, he dies at the end, but he did kill children. And then, like, you could, like, look fondly on him,
Well, you can't do that anymore. We talked about that before, that he's not redemptive anymore.
But he is, right? Like, I mean, like this, it's,
no,
it's fair.
He's lost a lot of its punch. If you go from that scene to that scene, you can't. I mean,
yeah. Well, they did it in Return of the Jedi. I mean, because they never wrote the beginning.
That's what I'm saying. If you quick cut from him killing those kids to the end of Return of the Jedi and them taking his mask off, it's kind of hard to have that same like,
Yeah. That's the way it is. They only have really 2 shitty characters that you're seeing. What'd you think of, well, whatever. So it ends, I can't think of anything else about this episode to talk about. It was just pretty good.
It's damn good.
Right? I mean, yeah, it was good. It was good. Right? I can't think of anything. What do you think overall about season 2?
I think it was awesome, man. And I still hear some people shitting on that one episode where they're on the ice planet.
What? I thought that episode was awesome.
It's a damn good episode. I mean, somebody said it was filler, but I'm like, I don't know about that. You know,
Edge of my
because
seat.
it does kind of establish a little bit what the New Republic's doing, because then they kind of pop in and out, you know, here and there. And it's a little adventure. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You need. That's a problem with having these 8 episode shows, is you need filler to expand on the characters.
Yes.
Because if you don't, then it's not earned. So when a character does something and you're like, I don't know, like, I love you, right? But they've only been in one episode together, you know, 1
It was
hour.
like Age of Ultron. Everybody was bitching that they weren't pursuing the whole Infinity Stone story with Thanos, and I was like, that's fine. I mean, it was an adventure of the Avengers being together and kind of starting to see some of the cracks in between them that took us to Civil War. You know, it's another adventure. I mean, it's not like a bottle episode either that exists on its own and you can rip it out and everything else goes exactly the same. No, because you learn some stuff about Grogu, you learn some stuff about Mando.
You could have, you know what? You could have took that episode out, and it could have been, all right, we're gonna travel. All right, we're here. If you took the episode out, and then he just so happens to be eating, but a lot of the jokes wouldn't be there when he's looking at the lizard and he wants to eat it. You know, you could take that episode out, but you need filler. You need it. And it has to work towards the overall goal of the story to expand. It can't be a filler like, let's have a story about Ahsoka Tano only. You know, it wouldn't make sense, you know, with the show.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of filler, I think of like Naruto filler.
Oh, no, but Naruto's different from like
happens.
actual writing.
Yeah, I mean, the filler happens and then they never speak of it again.
Yeah, like there's an episode of Naruto where they're talking about time travel, and then like, yeah, we can never do, or bringing people back from the dead. We'll never do this, and then like maybe there's an entire 100 episodes of bringing people back from the dead, and like but that's different because they didn't know what they were doing when they were doing it. It's like good writing, like Star Trek has filler, but it's filler to a point of expanding the characters. And that's what this did. It expanded the character, expanded the world. That's good. As long as you're doing that, you're good. Always.
Star Trek is, I don't know if I'm using this right. It's episodic, right? It's not
serialized.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't really start doing that. I mean, I would say until like the end of season 2, you know? Because the other episodes you can kind of take them and maybe move them around in different orders and still get the gist, right? But they're all building on the characters. Later on, it gets serialized and it's like you have to watch it in order to know what the hell's going on, which is cool.
I thought serialized. Yeah, you're right.
Serialized it's a series. Series.
Yeah.
I think episodic is more like, you know, this is the enemy of the week. You know, Power Rangers did it. You know, the enemy for the episode, blah, blah, blah. And you could kind of move them around however you wanted. No, this one, I mean, it fits in that specific space. It's not filler for filler's sake.
Oh, no, it's not filler for filler's sake.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity to kind of just expand on the Razor Crest and you know, Mando, Grogu doing silly shit.
I think not always filler is bad. But if it's done right, it's good. I think you kind of need a good filler episode. It kind of sucks though when you do have 8 episodes and there's a filler, because there are shows that do that, and you're just like, well, fucking why?
That could have been maybe half the episode. You know, the time on that planet maybe could have been half the episode. It was almost the whole episode.
I felt it's more like a breath. Like you kind of need episodes like that to breathe, so that when you have other shit, and then you just pay it off. As long as you pay it off, you're good. Like Avatar, the show, like there's a lot of shows that I watch that are shows, and there's like a lot, like not Clone Wars. Clone Wars doesn't exist for fucking filler or anything. The whole fucking show is filler. It just is, because it's like a filler between episode 2 to 3. That's it. And there's like a fucking filler. But like a lot of shows that I watch, like Avatar, they had fillers. There's 26 episodes per fucking season, and they can't all be studs, but each filler expanded on the characters, like the love between two characters or a power, a thing in the world. As long as I think you do that, you're good. It's when you go into Naruto territory where you're just talking about shit and it has nothing to do.
Shit that breaks a bunch of other rules that you've already established or future rules that you will have established.
Exactly.
You know, it's almost not even canon.
Yeah. Like, because this episode I didn't think you needed, like the episode you're talking about, the filler. I mean, you could have took it out. Honestly, I think you could have. I wouldn't want that. I genuinely liked the episode, but I mean, yeah, if you wanted to make an argument for a filler, that would have been it. But all in all, what did you think of the season?
I thought it was great. I think the success of the first season, though, fuck, man, it feels like they seized on it and they said, okay, we're going to use this as the vehicle to drive the rest of Star Wars, because the second season, I mean, it was used to set up all these other little offshoots, you know?
Yeah.
And I hope we don't get saturated to the point where it loses how special it is. You know, Mandalorian was special because you really get to go back to that world that we missed since the 80s, you know? Really, we didn't ever go back there. Rogue One got close, but we really never got to go back to that world until now. You know, space western, you know, status. I just hope it doesn't lose that, I don't know, that thing.
Well, just season 2 on itself without, you know, it expanding. What'd you think?
Awesome. Fucking
pretty good.
It was appointment television, man.
Yes. And what do you think's better, a binge or watching it every week? Now you have the gratitude of knowing both now, because you know Netflix and shit like that. You know what's better, a binge or like episode.
I think watching it every week makes it more special.
I know, right? That's so counterintuitive, right?
Because you watch the episode and then it has to stew inside of you. That's all you have to think about, really, for about a week, and you get to savor it more, you know, taste it and then talk about it with people and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then, okay, the next one's coming out, you know, and it gives you a reason to get together. Hey, let's get together, blah blah blah. You know.
Yeah. Appointment TV.
Me and my girlfriend watched. That's why I didn't watch it that Friday night. She wasn't free, so I had to watch it on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I only watch it with my family. I could watch it myself when it comes on at midnight, but I don't. I wait exactly appointment TV, man. And I think there's something to know about that. Maybe we've lost something having binge. I think every week is what we should do.
Yeah, the binge is good too, though, because sometimes you don't want to wait for the story. I binged The Queen's Gambit.
Me too.
I think that was like over 2 days, and that was good too. It just felt like a really long movie.
I didn't binge it though. I watched like a couple hours and then a couple hours and then a couple.
No, I watched half and then half.
Yeah, it's something like that. That's what I did.
That was. Good. That was good.
I think that would have sucked if you watched it in one go. All of it. That's pretty.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I broke it up.
So you're making more points here for no binge, dude. I'm telling you, like binge is. I think that's the worst fucking thing ever. I think weekly is the way to go.
Yeah, for a shared experience, yes. If you don't have any friends, binge the shit out of the thing.
You know? No, even then, I think if you binge, you kind of lose something there in the sense that it becomes jarbled.
Well, it's like
it's not as special.
It's like binging the Marvel movies. You know? I mean, I wouldn't recommend that. When Endgame came out, it was the culmination of our 10-year experience and journey with the characters too. Yeah. You know, for somebody else it would be like 3 or 4 days, which it's not going to have that same weight, you know, at the end. You know, for us, we remember when, you know, way back in the day, we were kind of like, Thor, what the fuck is that? You know, how are they going to pull that off? And then they pulled it off and we're like, oh fuck, you know, and then that character developed, and we saw him, lose his family members and go through all this grief and stuff, and then finally get to the end and find a way to redeem himself. Um, I don't, yeah, no, there's definitely. I mean, I would prefer, once a week or as it's coming out to binging it.
Yeah, I just think that binging is the word. Like at first it was a cool novelty, but in reality, maybe you shouldn't have all your meals at once. You know?
Yeah, like Netflix releases all its episodes at once, right?
Yeah.
I think their business model should be once a week.
It should be,
I,
right?
I
Because like it's counterintuitive, right? Because here's the thing you want, but in reality is the thing you want isn't the thing you need.
yeah.
And that's key. Like I get it. Like before we didn't have it, we're like, oh shit. But if you've ever really had all of a show or movie and you binged it, it kind of gets boring, like because it's more of the same.
So like Stranger Things died off. I'm guessing the writing got weaker. But also since it was coming out all at once, for me it was like, well, it's gonna be there, and I'll watch it when I feel like it.
Yeah,
Because
it wasn't as special.
I wasn't so hardcore about the show after 2 episodes. I was like,
Well, that first season, I was all in.
dude, yeah.
But that second
Yeah.
season, when you binge watch it, I didn't have the same.
That
I
was
don't
hard
know.
to binge. That second one was hard to binge. The first one was easy to binge.
Yeah.
The first one had me going next.
Yeah.
The
It was
second
like a
one,
long movie. Yeah.
the second one was easier to walk away from and say, I'll get back to this later.
Definitely the third one.
Third one,
Man.
I watched 2 episodes and I was like, I'm over it. I'll come back to it when I got time. And never went back to it. Game of Thrones, binged it because I had stopped at season 2. So then I started watching again as season 8 was coming out. And so right before the premiere of season 8, I was like, fucking watching everything, dude. And watched all the way up to the beginning of season 8 in about a week and a half.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Was it good? Wait, had seen it or you didn't?
Here's the thing. I did get to realize and notice the change of the pacing and how fast things were happening, because from one day and then a couple days later, all of a sudden it was like they were teleporting all over the fucking place, and they were the story beats were happening really, really fast. People were getting killed off really, really quick. All of a sudden I was like, man, this thing went really, really quick. I remember it took a season for them to go from King's Landing to from the north all the way to King's Landing, or from the Wall to where. I remember it used to take forever to get from one place to another, and there was a lot of character development happening in between. Now it was like, especially getting towards season 6, it was all out the window. 7.
It's harder to notice when it's like a week in between and even a year,
Yeah, or years.
when you go from between seasons. So it's like it is, so it has that build up. But if you're,
it was like a power creep. It was like a power creep, but it was a pacing creep.
But if you're going from episode to episode, then it's like, then it's time warp, And I think we've come to the conclusion, once a week, good to go. That's a classic. Just binge. Yeah. Hey, all right, let's go. What did you think? How about season 2? Were you engaged? I was.
Highly.
1 to 10. What do you think? I'm a 10. Like 100%, you had to have been in there, because there was
9.
not. 9? All right. Why would you not give it 10? Because I think perfect.
Because again, when I was able to see that they were setting up a spinoff, it took me out of the show a little bit.
That's legit. That's a legit
so
thing.
It was like the
you're being a dick.
engagement was there, but then I got disengaged when I was like, this is Disney fucking saying we're gonna cash in on this Mandalorian craze right now.
The reason I give it a 10.
It's like when shows, when they do their schedules, their primetime schedules.
Yeah.
If they have a really strong show from like 7:30 to 8, they'll program one of their weaker shows that they want to grow or expand right after that. So this is their lead in, and they're hoping that those people won't change the channel, because people don't change the channels, right? The first 5 minutes. And they'll start watching this next show to grow that base. That's what I felt like this season was at times. But when they were, but it was done well. So nine because it was.
The reason I give it a 10 is because there was times where I like anytime I'm watching something, there's an itch inside my brain about, oh, this is badly written, or this could have been written like this, or this could have been done this way. But every time it was there, I went right back into it, and like that doesn't really happen. It just doesn't.
So here's my problem. We talk about stuff. I watch stuff about writing, and I look through tropes and shit like that.
We do.
And so I see it, and I can kind of see how some of the sausage was made, but throughout the season, so my girlfriend watches with me, but she'll watch, like grabbing my arm, right? I'll feel her like squeezing my arm at those tense moments, and she'll be like, ooh, like what's gonna happen? She was in it, dude. She was in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I wish I could watch it like that,
I tell you, man, that spider episode, I was on the edge of my seat.
It was awesome, dude.
Yeah. I was holding your arm. That's how that was. I was literally like, I was like, ah, like like when they broke into the ship.
Say that.
I was like, oh my god! And then when they broke in even further, I'm like, oh, like I couldn't believe
that was the safe space, and it was violated.
It was as if you were playing Resident Evil. You went to the safe space, and someone bursted out of the typewriter. You're like, oh my god, All right. How about the story of season 2, the plot? What are you thinking?
You know what? It's a hard thing to do. To give people what they want and still be subversive. It's what Rian Johnson wanted to do, but he thought being subversive was not giving people what they wanted in his writing. He thought it was like going the completely other way. No, this was it was
what subverted your expectations?
So I was expecting like a needle happy ending, maybe Baby Yoda would still end up with the Mandalorian. I really was not expecting Luke to come out. At the beginning of the season, I was not expecting it.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're watching a movie, if this was a movie, an 8-hour movie, no fucking way does.
I only started to suspect it in the last act.
Yeah, when he's meditating on the
he's
stone.
Meditating on the rock, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Who's gonna answer the call? And again, that's the 3rd episode of 8. So that's the last act. That's the last act.
I agree.
So that was a cool surprise. Him teaming up with Boba Fett. I didn't see that one coming either. But again, Boba Fett is pragmatic. He wants to become the leader of a gang, take over what the Hutts were doing. Who knows if that's for good things or for bad things?
I'm good with that.
Another thing I was not expecting.
Yeah,
that fits within the universe. I never would have thought, hey, you know what? Boba Fett was fucking hanging around with Jabba the Hutt all the while with these aspirations of fucking taking over.
I didn't. Yeah, I was like, I didn't
watch it with that.
I didn't care that he did that. I was like, oh, that's cool. He's going to take over Boba Fett's fucking spot. They fucking even did a callback with the one guy with the thing, and he's in charge. I was like, oh, shit. And then he kills him, takes over. I was just like, well, fuck, I guess that does make sense. That's a subvert. Because, one, I didn't give a fuck. And when I did see it, I'm like, nice.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. It's because it's you weren't expecting it, but you're not super surprised. It's not like, wait, this makes no sense. No, it's like, whoa, shit, this fits the character, and so 9 again, dude. 9. I would still say 9.
You just landed on 9. That's good. All right, let me tell you my thought process. Subvert, cool. You literally quantified what I was thinking without me even knowing it. Because, like, seriously, I didn't even think subvert was the word of the day in the sense for this show or anything really. I don't need to be subverted to enjoy something.
Right.
But I mean, it did do that. And I have to say, the writing for me are more about the characters. One, I knew going in, they said, this is what we got to do. We got to get this fucker with the fucking Jedi. And I was like, okay, so either two things are going to happen. He's going to be with the Jedi, which I expected, or subvert, like it'd be something else, like you become bad guy. So I was like, cool, we got it. So they do that. But through that story, they built up characters, and I liked that. So for instance, Bill Burr's character, Mayfield, who would have thought he would have came back in this way? So when he comes back, I thought comic relief, something, but no, he is a 9-to-5 guy, wrong place, wrong time, and is fucking sour for it. And that's why he is what he is in the first season. So in the first season, he's like, this motherfucker, what do you fucking think? You think you know shit? You think you know pain? I know pain. So, okay, without season 2, he's just a dick. When you get season 2, it makes sense why he's a dick. And then how much of a dick to have this opportunity to murder a Gestapo, basically. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's like, what about Operation Cinder? And I played Battlefront. I saw them burn fucking planets, because that's the Emperor's like, hey, if I'm not around, burn the fucking planet. Yeah, and so when he's saying, what about Operation Cinder? Glory to the Empire. This other guy's like, yeah, we fucking, and he's like righteous about it. Like, yeah, we fucking did it for the Empire. Fuck these people. Fuck your team. Because he even says it. He goes, what about my team? Yeah. They didn't deserve to die. I get it for glory of the Empire, but why did my team have to die? We're all doing good things. And he goes, yeah, it was good. It was all good. And then he fucking, in the one time you shouldn't do this. This is why I was so down for that character. He's like, hey, you know what? We're all going to die. I'm going to die getting some revenge. And this is not the time to do this. They won. They could have left. Shit's good. Now he fucking kills that dude. They fucking shit. It's like, what? There were so many beats in that episode that was insane. That episode, by far, next to the ending, I guess. I don't know, man. Watch that episode again. Yeah.
Bill Burr's good, man. Bill Burr's good.
Who would have thought? I think most comedians that are good are probably good actors too.
Because that's been a trend. When he's sitting there and he's like stewing, you could see him inside internalizing it.
He contextualizes everything you're thinking in the moment. For instance, okay, so when they're on the truck, that episode's so beautifully written. So they're on the truck, right? And they got this shit, which I didn't care. I didn't care that they had something on the cargo. Like, they were explaining it, and I didn't care because it didn't make sense to. I was like, I don't care. But then when you're watching the episode, they did what I love. They showed. And they told you, but they showed it. They demonstrate what they're talking about. The shit's like a timer. They see explosions from far away, and they're hearing on the radio that the other trucks are getting blown up. And you're like, fuck, man, that was far. So that explosion is huge. So they seeded that in there. So there is a race against time in the beginning of the episode. And there's a lot of fighting, a race against time, and they're heroes at the end. You could have ended the episode, honestly. But it kept going, and they had seeded all this shit. So here you got at the very end, you got another beat where he has to take off his fucking helmet for the kid. So it's kind of like a thing, like it's like, shit, I care, I'm that down, right? So he does it.
He's like, he's giving up his religion.
Yeah, and for the kid, and then like, they destroy the fucking base. I mean, just all of that was beautiful. The talking of that was a pretty good shot between the recognition between the dropship person and him. And it's like, game recognizes game, right. And they let him go. I mean, just that episode to me was the best episode of the 2 seasons. Oh, next to I don't know, man, this show 10 for me. I just thought about that because.
And in the show, it pulls together other parts of the media, like you said, Operation Cinder, referring to that, if you played the game, how evil that shit was, and you're just like, this guy has a reason to be pissed.
Yeah. He didn't have to be, but they did it. They went there with it. They imagined how would a human being or whatever the fuck they are react to these events, and I love that writing because you could do that with anything. I always hated like sci-fi or magic writing where the characters aren't reacting like real people. Like, okay, that dude just melted that dude and you're totally okay with it, But Bill Burr's character is reacting to shit in real time, and it's to have that, I don't know, just the way they wrote that it was so good. And then there's the episode with the dragon that was good. I mean, fuck, even their worst episode by nerds who don't get laid and live in basements was the fucking snow episode, and that episode was good.
I thought it was good, man. Enjoyed the shit out of it.
I mean, like, dude, like when the two X-wings are like, switch to channel 2.
Oh, that was fun too. Yeah, that's right.
And then it's like, boom, and they pop open. You're like, oh,
the wings
shit.
open, and you're like, oh, shit's going down.
Yeah, dude.
They
Yeah.
only go to the lock their X-wings for attack position, whatever. Usually, that's when they're getting real. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was never watching that episode thinking, when are we gonna get there? No, never.
Yeah, I didn't care what they were doing and when they were doing it. Each episode was a nice wine to drink, and it was beautifully written. There's never a time where I was just like, well, the writing is terrible. I know I went on the Fennec train there, but I mean, other than that, I mean, like, it wasn't. I was like, maybe you could have done the Jedi, the Luke Skywalker with the music. I mean, come on. Other than that, I mean, like, those are so tiny, like our little gripes. Other than that, man, I mean, fuck, perfect. You know what? Maybe I'll drop it down to 9.5 just because I did it. Perfect. I'll go 9.5. All right. What did you think of the music through the show? It was okay, right? It's not like you're like, I'm downloading the Mandalorian soundtrack.
I would go with an 8 because I've already downloaded my favorite thing about Mandalorian is the first 2 openings.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're slightly different. What I liked about the first season was that the openings it was the same music composed slightly different. So it's an 8 for me, but it was awesome. I mean, it was a surprise actually how good the music was. But
for me, a 6. Once again, I mean, the music's there. It's good. It's average. I like little cues here and there, but other than that, I mean, it wasn't like, other than that, the robot music, I didn't care. I don't care.
Yeah, well, for me, not having something heroic for Luke when he came out, that was like, you guys fucking missed it, man. It was like, like I was saying earlier, it's like when the song's coming and then the beat drops and then fucking all hell breaks loose and you get the beat never dropped. It didn't even escalate. It never happened. So it was like it was like getting edged.
No, but that it's funny. I really do think that was just more of a you thing. And I'm not knocking it. When you said it to me, I was like, yeah, why didn't they do that? But other than that, I really
watch it again. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make an edit. I'm gonna share it with you guys. I'm gonna put in the music, and I already know which music they should have used. They should have used the fight music from the party barge in Return of the Jedi.
Because
it's newer.
Yeah. It's not just that. So when you watch Return of the Jedi, a lot of you fuckers don't understand Return of the Jedi. But let me educate you bastards. So check it. So when Luke comes out, right, or when the movie starts on Tatooine, all the fun players are not together. So shit's happening at different times with different characters, and you don't have the team. You left from Empire Strikes Back as, oh my god, my world's ended, and all my team isn't together. And so you got Return of the Jedi. And then Return of the Jedi, they all start separate, and they gradually, Luke doesn't got a sword, or his laser sword, as he says it.
Well, because at the end of Empire, he's lost it.
Yeah,
so you don't know that he has one.
Exactly. And so when it's all downhill from here, Luke's about to jump into the fucking Sarlacc. We know that there's some other players. Something's about to happen, and then the fucking lightsaber pops out of
and it's
R2-D2, and it's great. Yes, and yes,
you haven't had green yet.
Yeah, it's a different color. It's like, what the fuck? And so he gets this sword. He starts fucking cutting, and the music pops up, and it's like, bah, 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 and it's like the best. And then there's like, he's fucking people up. Han gets he couldn't see earlier, but now he can see and shoot stuff. Jabba dies, not Jabba. Well, Jabba does kind of die, and then like, and you get the, it just, yeah, man, dude, it was awesome. And you're right.
Together, even the droids are there. Everybody's
And
together
that's
again. They take off.
and that music right there encapsulates that moment where all the team comes together, and it's finally, for 40 fucking minutes, I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then your music comes on, all this shit happens. So yes, if Luke came onto that fucking thing, and then once he kills the first robot, boop, but because what you see in the sword, I mean, other than the X-Wing, you and I know. But then you see a Jedi with the cloak, they do the cloak thing. You still don't know. I mean, kinda, Then the lightsaber comes out. And now who the fuck could that other than
But what could another beat have been? Another clue. But the music that Luke fights to. That could have been another thing. A sound thing. Because you had the looks and you had playing on people's memories and stuff like that. And
that's a tough go. I wish we could talk to the director or the writer. Because check it. They kept his hood down as he's killing them all. All right. So maybe they were trying to create, I guess, like a reveal.
Like we don't know who this is. For people that have never watched Star Wars. Yeah, no.
We don't know. We don't know. We honestly, because if they wanted to reveal that it was Luke from the beginning, then as soon as the X-Wing pops out, but they kept his hood down, and I know they did that for special effects, not for a subvert.
Right.
But at the same time, it's a big reveal, I guess, when he puts it,
And I did like that the team was standing like with their guns.
They don't know.
Because they don't know. That makes sense. They don't fucking know who this guy is. Right?
Yeah.
If they would have been like, "Yay, they came to save us," then that wouldn't have made. I mean, it probably would have gone over most of our heads. But they were thinking, no, these guys. If I'm Cara Dune, I'm still skeptical. I don't know who the fuck these guys are. If I'm a Mandalorian, I'm even more skeptical because those fucking dudes had wars, right?
Yeah, you don't know. Like, as a Mandalorian, the Jedi could literally just kill you. And if I'm part of Death Watch, or I was,
dude,
death is on the table.
Imagine they thought they were about to die, and this guy just walked through the thing that was going to kill them.
Oh, yeah, you're not.
What do they have?
Yeah, you're not.
At that point, I don't care if Beskar can stop a lightsaber. You can still use the Force through it.
Yeah.
Or at least at weak points, the necks or the...
When he crushes the robot and you're seeing that, I mean, at that point, you're like, fuck, even if I'm wearing armor.
Hey, quick note about the Dark Troopers.
Okay.
So, might have to read more about this, but from what I remember, the Dark Troopers were troopers, right? People. Kind of infused with, dark side powers. So, they were stormtroopers that could use some dark side shit. And so when he says that they took out the person, I'm wondering if they were also using midichlorians or Jedi blood
or Kyber's crystals,
power them.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Because that at the core, that's what a dark trooper is. It's a trooper that has some dark side, limits.
I don't think so. I don't think because they really didn't do that in Clone Wars. Maybe in the comics, but it's tough to go that direction. However, it would be cool.
I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. That'd be worth reading more.
How about Beskar? Let's talk about Beskar and how weird it is. So, if Beskar could stop a lightsaber, so
now, here's the cool thing: when he's stopping the lightsaber with the Beskar, it's like turning red and expanding. It's almost like Beskar can stop it, but maybe there's a limit.
Maybe.
Because if it was completely impervious, it wouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah, but also why is Beskar so powerful now so Mandalorians had a whole 2,000 system. That's not planets, systems of planets. Right? That's how big and massive the Mandalorian Empire was. They got their heads cut off. They got shot. I mean, they must have not had Beskar armor. I don't know.
Maybe not all of them had Beskar.
Yeah, because Beskar wasn't a thing.
Because I don't even think Mandalorian. I don't think Mando has Beskar at the beginning of season 1. He doesn't. He has a Beskar helmet, but I don't think he's rocking a Beskar armor.
It's tricky. They introduced a story element that wasn't a thing, and now they wrote it, so it's canon. So we'll see from there how strong Beskar is. You know what I mean? Because it's stopping lightsabers and shit. Fuck, lasers. Fuck.
I thought Beskar was pretty powerful in Rebels
Nah, they don't do shit with Beskar.
because
But then again,
they get fried in their suits, but the only thing that remains is their Beskar.
I don't know. I would have to watch Rebels again. I'm still on Clone Wars. I haven't got to the last season yet.
Oh, okay.
I'll probably do that today. Hey, all right. So let's do this. Rewatchability. Remember, it's twice, 2 numbers.
Rewatchability.
Are you watching this again?
8. Yeah, I'm down to watch it again.
So 8, you mean 16?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, so wait.
I'm down to watch it again. I really do
8.
want to go back and revisit these episodes
8.
because there's so much in there.
So on average, I want to watch it again. What would that be? Let's talk about this.
Okay, 7, because I probably will only watch it one more time.
One more time, right? So it'd be
Yeah,
7
okay,
sounds
7.
pretty powerful. Yeah, know what? I'm agreeing with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 7 then. Because yeah, I'll probably watch it one more, maybe twice. I don't know if I'll visit it once a year like I do Inception or Interstellar.
Right?
Shit like that.
You know what though? You're right. I will watch this again. So season 3 comes out end of the year. Of course, I'm gonna watch it again.
Well, yeah.
So yeah. So therefore, I would watch it again. I would give it a 7. All right. Yeah, that's a pretty good. That's solid.
Yeah, because I before this season came out, I watched the last 2 episodes of season 1, and that was
smart.
Prime. That was good prime.
So I was gonna say, all in all, pretty good show, huh?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I'm trying to do the math. That's why I wanted you to keep talking.
Are those all the numbers that we put in there? Not like special effects? Or...
We went by score, story, plot kind of thing, which is characters. Everything in story is there.
We didn't go with special effects? We don't have a special effects one?
Nah, I mean, like, you could go with engagement there. You know what I mean? Like, because special effects shouldn't really... Because I could watch a painting.
That should be part of the engagement, because if shit's on strings, then it takes you out of it. That's all good.
All right, so... My math is off.
I'm gonna create something for you where it'll just spit out the numbers.
I know. I'll get to that number later, and then because it's like it's not. Let's get into Tenet because I wanted to rate that too. I've been waiting for this. Your second go. What do you think? And spoiler if you haven't seen Tenet, fuck you. All right, let's go.
My girlfriend wants to watch it again, and we just watched it last Wednesday. Second go.
You mean a third time?
I enjoyed it a third time, dude.
Okay.
I enjoyed it the second go. It gave me a chance to watch it, seeing it differently. Kind of watching Neil's reactions and how he's talking to him. Neil goes to talk to him, and the first and kind of like make some chit chat, and the first thing the protagonist does is like, "Hey, how are we gonna go meet this guy?" And Neil's kind of like, "That's impossible," you know. And I'm wondering if Neil's kind of like, "Man, this is the first time I've seen this fucking guy in forever." And instead of being like, "Oh, pals," there's nothing there. It reminded me of the vat of acid episode of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, okay.
Where Morty, his dad resets his life back to right before he met that girl.
Was it his dad or
his dad? His dad drops the remote and picks up the wrong one and accidentally picks up the save button and hits reset. And
so when he sees her again,
she doesn't know who he is. He's like, "Hey, you remember me, don't you?" And she's like, "Whoa!" And she maces him.
Yeah.
And then he falls on it, resaves at that point. And so he keeps hitting the reset and he keeps getting maced in the face because that's as far back as he can go. Mm-hmm. And it's like he just lived his whole life and he sees this person again finally, and they have no idea who he is, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's that that fuck, hey, don't you remember me type of deal. But Neil knows he can't say anything, you
Yeah.
know? So I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. Maybe I don't know.
I
But
mean, like everything you're saying is a legit thing, and like it's an amazing. It's amazing that you care. Like honestly, like
fucking
I did not give a fuck. I mean, like because the character himself isn't engaging. Like the main character who is supposed to be the main character.
I'm not as engaged by the protagonist as I am Neil.
Yeah, Neil seems to be hit if they made a movie about Neil, but it would lose all its like subverts and all that shit, plot twisting. But other than that, like Neil's the most engaging character in the thing,
I
but
think
he's not supposed to be the main.
I think
He is.
Filmento nailed it. Everything I pretty much felt after the first watch, I felt after the second one. But I felt like I was more able to keep up with the backwards and the forwards of the different time movements.
Okay.
So I
You
was
want to talk about that?
I was understanding more. Don't ask me to explain it right now. I'd have to like watch it and tell you as we're going through it. But,
Like in what way? What are you talking about?
the really tricky part was the car chase for me.
Okay, one's going backwards, one's going forward. Yeah.
Because the girl is going forwards, but her husband's going backwards.
Yeah.
And she's actually got this look on her face like, what the fuck's going on? Because he's pushing her in reverse, but she's being pulled like a dog by its muzzle. And she's like, what is going on? Right? She can't, she's being pulled by this flimsy ass mask and she can't pull away from it. Why is this happening? Right? So so her reactions make more sense now. The whole her being shot by an inverted bullet makes more sense. The
Wait. What do you mean? What inverted bullet? You mean like what was
forward.
not making sense about that?
The first time I was like, wait a minute, they're both on that side of the chamber. So was she? If she was going backwards too, wasn't she have been shot by a forwards bullet? But that's not the case. She hadn't been inverted yet.
No, she's just in the room.
She's just in the room.
You know.
So on a second watch, that's where I was like, okay, when does she go in? And that's where that's where I realized she didn't go in. He pulled her in. She's still going forward. She just happens to be in the room with him going backwards. And he's speaking forwards, and it's going through the comms backwards, and then they're flipping it, and that's why there's a delay.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, now I get why there's a delay. I get why he's having to run back in there because he sees himself going in. And I think Ives tells him, if you see yourself go in, or else you'll never come out.
Well, I think that's more of it just makes sense, right? Because you could just technically stay in there forever and then come out at a different time. So if you go in there and if you don't wait for your other guy to come out, I guess it's just, even then, I don't know. Even then it doesn't matter. Do you know why it doesn't matter?
Oh, what?
You know why it doesn't matter?
Because it's a movie?
No. So the goal is, right, you want to see yourself come out, right? But you don't know what time that guy is, though. Honestly, you don't. Because check it. You could stay in there an extra day, do stuff, invert yourself back, and then you could come back out. Yeah. I mean, you can do whatever you want because it's time travel. And that's all this is.
That's what I was thinking about at the end, too. That Neil doesn't have to go back that moment to stop the bullet. He can actually go back and have all kinds of adventures and shit just to remember to put that same clothes back on and go back and stop the bullet.
That's true. He could have died at 80.
80.
But that means he has to be going back in time. You know, I guess. I don't know. I don't know or care. No, because like, okay, check it.
What if he dies? What if he dies as he's traveling back and doesn't get to stop the bullet?
Maybe it's somebody else who dies. They just have a fucking backpack. It's not like he took the helmet off to check. You know what I mean? You don't know.
And then finally, I was thinking about this. I was like, all the other movies have something that they're about, right?
Okay.
Especially Inception. There's a really good comparison between the two. Why one works and why one doesn't.
Yes. Yeah. Well, because
he does it in that
yeah, Filmento. I thought the same thing, and I tried to make that argument before, is because you're attached to the character, the main character, which drives the
He has,
movie.
right. He has something driving him, and you understand what his drive is. The whole time, the first time I was watching Tenet, and even this one, I was like, what is it that's keeping him there instead of saying, fuck this, you guys are fucking crazy. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know, or I'm going to my other bosses and telling them what's going on here. You know, you guys are working outside the loop, outside the system. Who do you guys report to? Because the dude's trained. The dude obviously has experience. He has a system that he's familiar with. All of a sudden, these other guys show up and tell him, "Hey, this is how you're going to do things from now on." Who the fuck are you? Where do you fit into the defense apparatus? Because I don't know who the fuck you guys are. I don't know if I should trust you guys.
Yeah. You know what?
What is there to break that to motivate him going forward? Now, Femento says that if his buddy had been killed by an inverted bullet,
I agree.
he was not able to stop it. I would even add to that, if he's going through it to try and find a way to save his buddy, and then Neil teaches him this at the end, and with this is what I get from the movie, but you don't get it throughout, so it doesn't work. Neil says, because the protagonist's like, we already know what happens, and Neil goes, yeah, but just because we know what happens, like destiny, doesn't mean that we don't have to act. We still have to act. And that's so true. And I have a really good example for that too. A real life example. Now, if the protagonist had learned that and then gone back and been able to see that his friend had to die to kick all this into motion, and then just let it happen, you know,
I agree.
think that would have been powerful.
I agree.
That would have been strong. And Filmento nailed it too. If we'd have ended up back at the opera scene, that would have completed this whole idea of a time loop.
I agree.
Maybe that would have been a bit of a trope, you know, in time travel movies. But I think for the protagonist to learn how he has to make his decisions going forward now or backwards or whatever the fuck is, right? I think it would have been great for him to go back to that moment that made him change, you know, to join Tenet, and then decide, no, this has to happen so that I can join Tenet.
Or like just anything really, like that would have worked. There's any number of things they could have done to instill this shit had to happen or else. And or like, and they could have done something with the characters, like he fell in love with the girl, they grew old together, and then, you know, she had died earlier in the movie or something, and then like he had to let her go. Some riveting thing like that rather than bro love. But I mean, wait, you said you have a real life example.
So we did a final exam, right? I'm a teacher. We did a final exam, and sometimes the final exam can wreck your grade, right? If you fail the fuck out of it, you fail the class, right? If you walking into
if you're already doing shitty,
right? You're walking into the exam with a D minus, thinking you're gonna come out with a D minus, you're gonna flunk the shit out of that.
Even a C, they'll take you.
Right. So I set up the final in this way, and you know I'm good with numbers. So 25 questions, okay, 3 points each, you know, for correct answers. Okay, so that's 75 points, right? Okay, 2 points if you get it wrong. So I gave it's a multiple choice, so I gave the wrong answers points as well. So the lowest you could get is 50 out of 75. The highest you can get is 75 out of 75, which means the lowest grade you could possibly get is a 66%, a D. So if you're failing with a high F, this could pull you into a D minus territory. This would save.
I like it.
Okay, but mathematically, with a 66%, there's no way you can average in a 66% to your grade and fail the class, unless if you're already failing.
Okay.
So I basically set it up so that the test, the final, will not fail you. If you fail, it will not be because of the final. The final can only help you or hurt you, but minimally, and that's if you don't study, right? Okay. The least you get is 50, right? Because 25 questions, 2 points each, 50 points. A kid got 47. And I'm talking to his mom, and his mom's like, well, what can we do in this and that? I go, look, he got 47 out of 75. yeah, he didn't understand any of them. I go, I'm guessing he skipped some. She said, yeah. I was like, if he doesn't even try, he's not going to accomplish anything. So what was the point of skipping them? He still had a 1 in 4 chance of getting it right. So why did he skip them? I go, that's his semester in a nutshell. He didn't even try this semester, which is why his grade is so low. He was just like, I don't get it. I don't know it. So I'm going to leave. Even though I was staying for an hour after class every other day, right? Every period, every other day to help these kids out. So if he didn't stay and he was just running to his video game system or his TV or whatever, that's on him. Just because he thinks he knows he's going to fail doesn't mean that he shouldn't try.
Okay. So what did they say?
And I just watched Tenet the night before. So my thing was, you know what's going to happen, but you still have to go through the motions for it to happen. Otherwise, if you don't want anything to happen, then don't do anything. You're kind of guaranteeing to fail.
Well, I could grab that to something else other than Tenet, but okay. What did the parents say?
She was like, I know, and I'm really disappointed that he did that, but she still wanted me to try and figure out a way. So I was like, look.
Did you go, hey, look, this is a symbol, right, of Tenet. Think about it. Fucking think it. Think about it. Fucking think about it, okay? And then she's like, what?
No, we helped him out. And honestly, I was willing to go as low as 57% to give a D-. So I gave him the D-. He got to 57%.
Fuck that shit. You should have stuck to your guns. It's not worth your trouble, though.
No. It's one of those things where,
okay,
single parent, she's lost in the woods. He's lost in the woods. I saw a lot of what my mom was going through, when I was in high school. So,
but this guy wasn't you.
I know, but hopefully this lights a fire under his ass, because he's going to have me next year. And so basically next year, I'm going to have all my same students and then some.
Like Tenet, I think that we all have, and this is what Tenet really is trying to do, but did terrible at, is we all have roles we have to play, no matter what. And that's the way it is. And, maybe your role was meant to play the guy who fails the guy. And that's the role, Tenet.
Or maybe my role was to show this guy that if he applies himself at least a little bit, instead of
he didn't apply himself
throughout the semester, he could have got an A. Last minute, he got a D-.
Or
if he'd have done what he did that night, but spread it out throughout the semester, he would have got an A.
Yeah.
But now he's barely walking out of there with a D-, punished by his mom without his video games and shit like that, right? And I'm gonna ride him next semester. I'm gonna have this kid again next semester, and it's gonna be like, hey man, remember all those breaks I cut you last semester? That's because I figured, COVID and stress and blah blah blah. All right. We learned how to utilize this system now. I'm here after hours. Okay. So now, if you're at 57%, that's on you.
That's true. Okay, I get it. Yeah, when you said COVID, I forget the window of time that we're in.
They're
right
11
now.
and 12 years old.
Yeah. I'm like, fuck that kid. Fuck him. And then, your role was to destroy him.
Dude, imagine going through COVID, living where you guys were living.
Yeah, it would have been bad.
That's a lot of these kids' reality. Yeah. At least I had 2 bed, 2 bath, a little patio area in the front, little patio area in the back, my cars and shit, to get out and, we'll have my windows up and still be able to look outside. Some of these kids have just had their 1-bedroom apartment where they're sharing with other people and fucking going stir crazy, right?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I always had an exit. There was no exits here. COVID really stopped all exits. It's not like you can go to the store or whatever. Hey, all right. Let's talk about Tenet real quick. Let's keep on to Tenet here.
Yeah.
So, did you see that movie Primer that I told you about?
No.
See, now Primer does what Tenet does, but better. It inverts time. And it's more about these two characters on how they accidentally figured it out and how going back, and that's how they go back in time. They go backwards slowly. And I'm not going to get into the details, but they just do a better story because they resonate with the main character. See, when I'm watching this movie, the first time I'm like, oh, cool. The second time I'm watching it, I already get the gimmick. All right. And I don't need to, like, it's true. As I'm watching it, I don't have to, for me, I don't think to myself, well, they're not doing it this way, special effects that way. I don't even think that. I just know that I trust in the work. I mean, they had two directors, one doing the back and one doing the front end, just to guarantee that everyone was doing what they were supposed to do in the right invert. So like, I just, in my second viewing, I already knew that. So I just trusted that whatever is happening is happening. So I'm just watching the movie basis without, like, I already know that it's a gimmick. So I'm not trying to figure out, oh, what's this, what's that. So I'm trying to find a deeper meaning within the story. I'm trying to find something to like about this movie. There's nothing, fucking nothing. There's nothing to like about this movie other than the gimmick of inversion, which is time travel. And yeah, there's nothing here. There's nothing other than the special effects and the explosions and stuff. I feel like if he wanted to do this movie right, he should have did it more personable and maybe nothing grandiose about the end of the fucking world. Maybe the end of this guy's life or the end of a relationship or the end of something more manageable for the character, and maybe demonstrations of like, hey, this had to happen the way it did.
I think, and I'm okay with end of the world because, or potential for end of the world, because you have to have a reason for all these resources to be marshaled, right? To have some of these scenes.
Well, yeah, for what you're saying.
I'm gonna agree with you though. It needs to be more personal. It was too detached. It was hard to care about the end of the world without some other thing there, besides. So the wife, she's compelling, but she's not the protagonist.
Yeah, but is she compelling?
Yeah, dude. Because
what's compelling about her?
She's in this relationship she can't get out of. She's being held hostage.
Yeah, she's a fucking trope, dude. She's just a damsel in distress. That's all she is.
Yes and no, because the damsel in distress is usually saved by the hero. In this case, she's not saved by the hero.
She is saved by the hero.
At the very end, she's kind of like watched over by the hero, but she does it herself. Rapunzel in this one, Rapunzel cuts her own hair. Instead of the prince cutting her hair for her. In this one, she's the one that fucking shoots that dude in the chest and then tosses his ass over the fucking edge of the side of a boat. She does it.
It's true.
But
I mean, like, they save her to get to that point, but whatever.
Again, she's not the protagonist.
Yeah.
We're not on the ride with her. She's somebody else that, if she had her arc, that's great. The protagonist, you're witnessing the movie through him. You're learning about the movie through him. So for that to be more real, you kind of have to also be feeling it through him as well. And you're not. You're just not.
Yeah. He doesn't give a fuck about anything too.
You're completely detached. He's too cool. He's too cool. And Filmanto does a great job of showing characters reacting viscerally to what's going on.
You needed that character. It's funny too, because Inception was such a good comparison because like the main character has done this, but he's not like, but you don't kind of need that because everyone else is acting like that. And so that's your story, and with another thing about Inception, which is a good comparison, is they took a complex thought and they made it more personable because the world isn't going to end. Nothing's going to happen. Right. This is just a window of time for these characters. So like you are invested because all this shit has to happen for him to go home. But that's all it is, for him to go home. Because if they fail, they all die. The only reason why you're invested is because you like the character. You genuinely want them to win.
And there is like a geopolitical, economic thing happening.
You could say that, but you don't need it.
It's there, but that's why Sato is there, right?
Yeah.
Or Sato, the Japanese guy. That's why he's there. That's why the funding.
But that doesn't need. You didn't need. You still don't. It doesn't matter if it's there or not.
That's not what's driving us. Yeah. The guys that don't really give a fuck about what happens up at the 1%, right?
Yeah.
So, because we're still gonna be living our lives. No, the personal side of Inception is what really gets us going.
Yeah.
And it's
And Interstellar does the what are they? The world kind of almost ends, so there's that. But once again,
it's him and his daughter.
yeah,
You know, that relationship between them two, to an extent, the professor with her dad. Everybody's got their own thing going on, more or less.
yeah. But you're
but
just
you're-
engaged with the characters.
But before he even leaves the planet, you know,
Yes.
him and
Yeah.
his daughter, you learn how tight their bond is. Shit, dude.
And that's why
when he looks underneath the blanket expecting to see her and she's not there when he's driving away.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know?
Yeah.
You're feeling it with him.
Yes. Yes.
And, so
And
you're
like
on
you
that ride with him because there was no resolution when he left. It's like,
well, and
you know,
ever
he
since
left
I'm
and he
telling you,
didn't
man,
say goodbye.
Dunkirk and Tenet, they did the same fucking thing. You don't give a shit about these characters.
Yeah, he expected us to kind of pour ourselves into it, and
Yeah.
that's not the way it works.
No, you have to give us, and he did it. He did it before and meant multiple movies. Even Memento, which does kind of do inversion in a way, you still are all about these characters.
And it's different. It's different like in a video game. So like, let's say Knights of the Old Republic. For the thing at the end to matter, you have to give a shit about a character who at the beginning is amnesia, you know? And it's like, oh, great, amnesia, fuck, you know? But then you're applying your own decision making, whether or not he's going to go light side or dark side. And so you're kind of putting your values into the character, which fucking bonds you to that character.
Well, that's any game, and that's what they were trying to work, the character that doesn't talk, but that only is because you're playing it. When you're watching a story,
right.
Yeah, you got to have I'm watching a story, I got to have the character do shit, you know? So, I mean, like, that's what, Tenet really, you take away a lot of the gimmicks, it's all about the story in the end that really gets you, and engagement for me was like, the first goes like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what's happening? But now that you know, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter about any of this. None of this matters. Like, you what are you gonna do? You're gonna watch every little nook and cranny about, oh, they went this way instead of that way, and he kicked instead of he should have fainted, you know, and things like that. And like, you can get lost in the weeds, but if you just watch a movie, like when I watch a Star Wars, I don't say, oh, well, fuck, how can you shoot a laser while in a ship that's moving? How's a laser
we're talking
faster?
We're talking about like character development.
Yeah. Like nobody gives a fuck about how come a laser moves faster than a ship. Why can't the ships move as fast as a laser? Or how can he stop a fucking laser? You know, like he's faster than the speed of light.
He shouldn't be reacting faster than light. Yeah.
Nobody cares. They just watch the story play out. And so while I'm watching this, I'm like, oh yeah, they got the gold and they did that so they could get into the thing, to do the heist. You know, and they did the heist 3-4 fucking times. And I was like, okay, what is this movie? Is it a heist?
We needed to see more conflict of the protagonist.
Yeah.
Using
the gimmick.
Wife. No, using the wife to get access to Sador.
That would be cool.
Because it does come to a head, because it is important to Neil and it is important to his mom, or whatever the relationship ends up being, the wife. Because he's like, that's one of the first things he asks him, would you take a woman hostage or would you take a child hostage? Yeah. And then later on, she's like, you used me to get to him. And he's like, yeah.
But you know what? I'll take you, if you took that line out, would it matter? If, or if the part where he uses her, would it matter? It wouldn't matter.
It ends up not mattering because it ends up not mattering because you don't see the conflict within the protagonist to do that.
Yeah.
If that maybe starts becoming the why of the movie. What are you willing to do?
That's good. I like that. But
to avenge your friend. But to avenge your friend, to save your friend's life, you're willing to sacrifice somebody else's life?
Or sacrifice your friend?
A relationship with this person and not this person. That's what makes it okay. Those questions could have been asked. And at the end he goes, fuck. My friend has to die for me to join this thing and for me to be able to save the world and save this woman and save her son. Somebody else is going to get to live by my friend making the sacrifice and me sacrificing my friend.
Yeah, but that didn't happen.
That doesn't happen.
How about when you watch the bullet flip again? When they're flipping the bullet?
It's even more bullshit because you have to have dropped it. What he should have done was pick it up and then drop it.
Yeah.
That would have fulfilled the rule. Instead, he picks it up and then he like holds it, and he never goes back and drops it. If he picked it up and then dropped it right away, then that would have made sense.
How about when they're flickering the bullet though? When they're flicking it and they're just trying to
doing all kinds of stupid shit.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have had that. They shouldn't have had that. That was unnecessary. Unnecessary.
How about how about when they say that the person who invented this inversion encoded the technology into the physical object, and I was like, but why though? Like why is that a thing? It's like they just added something. When you have to shoot a person, you have to shoot a person like this. Why? But
a MacGuffin,
and
they created a MacGuffin, and if you're good, you can use the MacGuffin, but the MacGuffin shouldn't be driving what's happening. It should just be kind of there, but not the reason for everybody deciding to do what they're gonna do. It should be something within their character deciding for them to do that thing, to participate in this thing.
Yeah, it was dumb. It was dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
You don't have to understand it. I get it. The science doesn't have to make perfect sense.
No, the science doesn't have to make sense, but the reason you're doing it does. You know what I mean? Like what? Why? Why can't she just do this, or why can't she just do that? Why has it got to be encoded into these things that go back in inversion and time? I was just like, why?
Yeah, they don't have a delete button. They just deleted it.
Yeah, there's no fucking reason for any of this movie. And then with whatever. Yeah, I watch it face value without, thinking about complexities here. It's still crap. There's nothing there for you.
I'm not going to blame you. I'm not going to argue.
There's no character development. There's no really good and evil conflict. There isn't when you're talking inversion. For all we fucking know, Sato or whatever the fuck his name is probably part of Tenet. He has to be the bad guy so that the people in the future use him. You don't fucking know. There's no inner conflict with the characters. There's no real resolution because they're going back in time, completing some loop you don't get to see. I don't know. Other than that, a story. Okay, take away the gimmicks. Even the gimmicks. Okay, story to me, shit. Let's put the gimmicks. I don't care. You inverted time.
And Inception, it wasn't a gimmick because
it was a gimmick.
So Cobb does this thing to his wife, right?
Okay.
Tricks her into believing some other reality. And we could do that through lies. We don't need to do the dream space thing.
But the gimmick is dreams.
The gimmick is dreams, right? Yeah, okay. And that's where it comes from. But I mean, we can do that. We could create realities for people through lies.
Yeah. But it's cool.
But with this one, it is cool, but also it gives you a way to turn that guilt into a person that he has to deal with. So that you don't have to do like a Professor X, look inside of his mind and see the two sides of the mind fighting each other. No. It is two sides of his mind fighting each other. His guilt, and that shade of Maul against himself, and
that works.
Wanting to go forward and move through that.
Yeah.
The whole idea of them going into dreams gives you a way to explore that in a visual way. That doesn't have to be as figurative as now we're seeing inside of his mind and we're seeing the two sides like Cobb versus Cobb, No.
No, but it is a gimmick though, and it uses the forum of dreams and how that is. That's awesome.
It's a concept. I would say it's a concept because a gimmick is just like thrown out there to look cool, and then that's all it's there for, and it doesn't do anything to drive the character development. Here they created a space where Cobb can deal with that guilt of having tricked them all, you know? And
I mean, we could debate the semantics of gimmick versus space, but thing they use as a dream.
Tenet, gimmick. Inception, concept.
Okay, whatever.
I
Tomato. I say the thing of using dreams. They used it. They worked with it. Good. The use inversion. They fucking did nothing with it. They just created convolution. That's all they did.
now
They didn't use it for their story. They didn't. It wasn't utilized.
I think I watch it and I enjoy watching it because of the gimmick and how difficult it makes the filmmaking to make it look good when you have a mix of forward and backwards moving things.
Okay.
So like I watched the behind the scenes things, the documentary and all that stuff.
Yeah, me
so
too.
I still watch it and I'm able to enjoy and appreciate how hard it was to stick the IMAX cameras in certain places, how hard it was to film this or that or choreograph this or that, car chase scenes or whatever. I think it's really cool to watch from that point of view, especially since most of it is practical effects.
Of course.
Shot in camera and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dude, PlayStation 5 is an excellent fucking 4K player.
Okay, so now I know.
It's better than my dedicated 4K player, dude.
That's what I want to hear.
and my 4K player skips on Warner Brothers discs. Warner Brothers discs, I don't know why. My Sony 4K player eats shit on those, right? PlayStation blew straight through it, man. No skips, no jumps, none of that shit. Colors were awesome. Movement was awesome. I went in the third act, it froze on my Blu-ray player. Took it out, stuck it in the PS5. I was like, fuck, this is amazing.
And that's because it has a processor. The main thing is it has two processors to.
It's hauling ass, dude. So
the PlayStation doesn't fucking care. It's like, oh yeah, of course that I could do this.
Pay
and
those
then
extra
some.
$100. Get that badass fucking 4K player, dude.
With the 4K player, and that's kind of a weird thing, right? Because to market it, you don't need much because it's a 4K player. So why would you put processing power when you know the motherfucker is gonna buy it?
Right,
and like, how many people were really giving a shit about skipping? And although this is a thing, with 4K, I mean, it's hard. It's a hard sell. The PlayStation just accidentally because of what it is.
So awesome, yeah.
Yeah, because of what it is.
But dude, visually, I mean, I'm watching on a badass TV, dude. I haven't seen anything better than this, and I'm saying I haven't seen anything as good as the 4K scenes in Dunkirk, the real 4K scenes, right?
Yeah.
It looked better than it did in the movie theater, because in the movie theater I was seeing a lot of aliasing. That's when like a straight line does like that jagged thing.
Yeah, it's like
I didn't see a whole lot of that shit going on. Fine detail was awesome. Color depth.
All right.
Everything was
Enough
awesome.
of this.
So
I can't think
I'm watching the movie. I'm watching it kind of like when you go see fireworks and shit like that, because
exactly
story-wise.
Yeah, exactly. This movie is just fireworks, right? So like, I mean, like, then you watch Interstellar and shit.
I'm still
that's so good.
but there's not as much to taste there as there is in Interstellar or in Inception.
It doesn't even feel like there's way to break the movie apart. Like when you're watching Mandalorian or any fucking thing, really, we can break it apart and do stuff. With Tenet, there's not much to break apart. You got what your core elements is unengaging characters and a convoluted plot with
and you have
inversion.
To feel too much, the viewer, the audience has to put too much into the characters to get anything out of it. Even the idea that Neo is Maximilian, from the future.
That's not even directly it's not enough other than it's just too much.
Well, that's people watching it and thinking, hey, that's probably that could be that kid. So it's not even guaranteed. You kind of had to really go in there to get that out of it. Even then it doesn't add. I mean, for me, it adds a lot, but then you're watching it.
There's nothing there to point to that kid
I still feel for Neil throughout the movie.
Of course.
And I was looking for more clues that was a thing, but I wanted to feel more from the protagonist, Yeah. And
well, like if you watch it the second go and maybe even the third go, there's nothing like concrete. There is like, you could say, yeah, because of his hair, yeah, because of this, yeah, because of that, but you really aren't, like you said, you coined it. It's you're doing that. You're
Yeah.
watching the white canvas and you're painting the image.
filling it
Other
in.
than I mean, like you, dude, there's nothing there. Even their names aren't even similar. You know, like I saw somebody try to use a comparison of Maximilian. You know, he couldn't use that, so he had to use Neil because that's kind of close. And I'm like, wow,
No,
you're struggling.
Neil's the last 4 letters of Maximilian, the European writing
Okay,
of it backwards. It is.
I know.
Yeah, okay, that. I mean,
But hear what you just said. Say it again.
Maximilian, last 4 letters of Maximilian, backwards is Neil.
Backward. Exactly. It's the last 4 letters of his name backwards. Look at what you had to do to get there. It wasn't like his name backwards. No, you're right. Nothing's a lot. You just have to take the last 4 letters of his name and invert it.
For the audience to have to go through and have to figure it out.
But that's what you just did that though.
Yeah.
Like
no, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. You just have to remove a letter.
Yeah.
It's like if like his name was like Axe. You're like, yeah, you take a letter and then you put these 2 letters together. It's X. You know, like I mean, like
it's clean enough.
You have to invert the last 4 letters of his fucking name.
But they never show his name. They never
exactly.
They never call it back. You know, they never go. He doesn't walk away. He goes Maximilian, Neil,
something. Right? Like it was so fucking terrible. There's nothing. I've seen them say it's the way his hair is positioned too. And I was just like, oh no, you're not doing this.
I think one of the good ones though is Robert Pattinson dyeing his hair specifically for that role.
Okay.
And ended up matching up with what the kid had and what the mom had going on. So that's good. But again,
once again, no, that's too much.
Again, Neil is not the protagonist. He's not the main character.
Yeah. So who cares?
Let's say all of that is true. That's not the person you're experiencing this movie through. That's not the person that you're on the ride with. That's somebody else that passes in on your ride and then pops out that you're supposed to be intrigued by, but you're supposed to be connected to while you're on your journey.
Well, no, if it was a thing in which they were lovers and he died and he had to let him go because of Tenet or whatever, you know what I mean? For the fate of the world, then yes, then it works. Even if he's stoic, but that didn't happen. So, and then it's an implied friendship, but he has to go back in time 10 years. Because how old is Neil? You don't know. Say he's 40. What, he went back 10 years and he's 30? I don't know.
He was 30 and decided to go back.
I mean, fuck. I mean, he has to go back. It was a gimmick. All right, let's break this down then. All right, engagement. You were engaged. I know you said that.
Highly engaged. But wait, is this the one that we throw in there twice?
No, rewatch. Rewatch. We'll get there. Let's go engagement.
I'm gonna say 9 on the first pass, right?
Okay. Or are we gonna average these 2 numbers?
The first time I was with you. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
I was at a 9.
But you know when I started to check out? The battle scene.
Of course.
The battle scene, I was like, okay, the rest is fireworks. This is purely fucking fireworks. This is just a battle scene with pro and invert.
Yeah, I wanted it to be. I wanted there to be a payoff to all of this, and there wasn't. That's why I was a 9. I was still 9
when it ended. It felt like it was still missing something.
Okay. Yeah, of course, because there's nothing there. So okay, wait. The second time you watched it.
No, I would say it was still a 9. I was still watching it. I was still.
So you're giving it a 9, huh?
But again, I'm watching it on a big TV with all my sound going and shit. So
yeah, I hear you. Then there was time in between. I watched it one after another.
Yeah,
I watched it one day and then I watched it again the next day. So I mean,
I was engaged because I was looking for things, and I was like picking up on little things too.
Fuck yeah.
I should have started writing stuff down, But again, it's stuff related to the gimmick, the stuff related to like what's going forwards, what's going backwards. Not so much where's this relationship or what are his motivations or why would he do this other thing or was there an internal conflict going on? It was mostly about the gimmick.
I hear you. All right. I give the engagement for me, it was a 9 but then I was like, eh.
It would have been a 10. It was a 10 up until that last battle scene. After that, I remember the movie theater just thinking, I have to not give a fuck about this time thing anymore and just kind of see where this goes because I don't know what the fuck's going on with this.
I give it a 6.
And that took me out of it. That took me out of the movie because I had to think about the movie.
Even that, like,
about
my second pass through, I was engaged in the sense that I was like, maybe there's something here I didn't notice. Now that I don't have to think about time travel, I could just enjoy the story purely. And I was a little bit engaged, but I mean, other than that,
I think engagement is going to drop off more for you than for me. There's going to be a drop off each time.
Yeah.
But
like,
I think it's going to fall off faster for you than it is for me, but it will.
Well, yeah, because I watched it like back to back. But the second time though, I had the thought process of I get it. Let's just watch it, enjoy it, face value, and that's where it drops off.
I've watched Dunkirk all the way through twice, but I've gone back and skipped to like the airplane scenes. Now that I know that this PS5 is badass, I might go back and watch the airplane scenes again
just to see it.
But I won't watch it in its entirety.
Of course not.
And in that time since Dunkirk came out, I've probably watched Inception 3 more times.
All right. Let's go. Story plot. What are you thinking? Can you hear me? Did you freeze? Oh no. Yeah, I heard you. Give me a second. Let me see where I'm at.
Sure.
No. Shit's all freezing for me. How about you?
Talking all fast, like it was trying to catch up.
All right, give me a second.
It was glitching, like I was watching you glitch, like you were like frozen, and then you said everything really fast.
Let me see where my speed's at. Oh, I'm good. I came back. I don't know what happened. Someone Yeah. All right. Let's go to the story. What are you thinking?
God damn it. 6.
Oh. I give it a 1.
Oh, geez.
I mean, we went through it. There's nothing here. There's the protagonist is not engaging. There's nothing engaging.
Unfortunately, the protagonist is the weakest character of all of them.
Oh, of course, but even
the other, and I like the wife.
I like Neil.
You know, and I am the Fedor. You know, when he's on the screen, I'm like, what the fuck is this guy gonna do? You know.
Yeah. I didn't care. He was too bad to be bad. There was nothing good about him to be bad. It was a good bad guy. He was just a bad guy.
You know what? And in the behind the scenes, they told him too, you're not gonna be very complex. You're just an evil motherfucker. You're the most evil thing ever.
I'm like, if you want to make a movie for a child, you're gonna make this advanced concept Tenet, but you're gonna make the villain not that very complicated. Cool.
Yeah, but I was scared by him. Like I didn't know what was gonna happen, but he wasn't interesting. Like I kind of want to know more about now. There wasn't much there.
He wasn't good at being a bad guy, and he wasn't interesting at all. And he was just bad to be bad. I'm surprised he didn't steal a lollipop from a kid. You know, like he was just comically bad, and it wasn't done as if like that was what they were going for. They did it as like, you're just gonna be a bad guy, and this is what we're gonna do.
That's literally what they told him.
Yeah, and that's what it was, and that's why it's a 1. I mean, there's nothing redeeming about the story at all. I mean, the only thing keeping it from a 0 is the fact that at least it was, like it moved a certain way. I mean, like there was a plot there. It wasn't good.
I like Neil, even though he doesn't even have an arc. You think about it.
Does Neil bring the story to a 6?
The same person. He's the same person at the beginning of the movie as he is at the end.
So, hey, check it out. Okay, so Neil gives you a story point. That's 1. The wife, 1. You got the fucking bad guy. Give him a 1, and that's still like 4 points because you got the protagonist. I mean,
I'm basing this out of a totality. This is a 3-legged stool.
Yeah.
And
Neil's that awesome to bring your number to a 6.
I am. Yeah, I like that.
It's rough. All right. Fuck it. We'll see what you say 10 years from now, because this movie is going to be forgettable.
Yeah,
it's gonna be forgettable. There you go. All right, score, the music. I like to call the 99 cent Hans Zimmer. Let's go. What'd you think?
9.
What? 9. You know what? When you say that though, the music was. Did you know that the music was reconstituted on iPod, like an like a
What do
like
you mean?
with headsets? Somehow they fucked up, and that's why the sound was so terrible. Is because they did something with the sound through like like a
I think
headset.
I think the audio for the voices might have got fucked up somewhere
Yeah,
along the lines because it's too it the highs are not there.
yeah.
And so
It
it's
wasn't about people in this. They just terribly compiled it.
yeah, I when I was watching it here, I was like, nope, they fucking edited it wrong.
Yeah, and okay, so and you gave that shit a 9. Score
Well, because
comes
you
with
said score is music.
this music. I mean, shit. Come on, let's go. Score, sound, fucking the whole shebang.
I'm still gonna stick with the 9
Oh,
because
God, Jesus Christ, I give it
dude,
a 6.
the explosions, the music, the everything, the audio location of all, where everything was at around me was awesome. It was very immersive.
Okay, that's
Just the
fair.
voices that was fucking terrible.
Yeah, because you don't need voices to understand a shitty plot. I agree with you because there is no plot. So who gives a fuck about how they
Yeah, I
talk?
mean, we're already in the no story. This is not important. It's just like, okay, make me feel this with the action that's
At
going on.
least it had explodes.
There you go.
All right, rewatchability.
6. Because I'm
Wait,
gonna watch it again.
well, 6. You mean 12 or you mean 6?
That is pretty strong. 5, because it is gonna get a rewatch from me, multiple, but not as much as my other movies. But I'll go with the 5.
Because we're gonna watch it again. I mean, you're gonna watch it again.
Well,
I've watched it twice.
I'm not gonna give it the same rewatch score that I gave Mandalorian. Not at all. Right? Mandalorian I want to watch again, within the next couple months, or for sure before the 3rd season comes out.
Of course, right? But okay, other than you watching it again with your girlfriend next week, which is kind of odd. I get why you watched it the first time and then watched it again the second time, but now you're watching it almost back to back, right? This last week and this week.
We're saying we're gonna watch it again. Who knows? We might not. Akira 4K comes out tomorrow, so
Will you watch this movie next year?
yeah, I'll watch it again sometime next year.
Why?
Because we're
why?
about a week and a half away from next year.
Are you stupid? Next year,
that's
how about-
literally 12 months of space between now and the year after that. So
like 5 years from now, you see yourself watching this fucking movie. Wow. Okay. I mean, you watch Dunkirk, which has no story at all.
It's a pretty reference movie for like a good sound setup and a badass TV and a good 4K player. They don't get much better than this, dude. Does not get much better than this.
God,
I
give it a 2.
I wish it had the story to fucking go along with it.
I know. I give it a 2. There's nothing here for me. Nothing. There's nothing. I mean, like, it has cool effects. It fucking sucks. This fucking movie sucks, dude. It's pretentious. It's shitty. There's nothing there.
I would agree with the pretentious part where he thought he could go that far with a gimmick.
Yeah.
Where he didn't have to give the story along with it.
Yeah. I mean, like, God, man.
There's no life lesson to be drawn, really. They try to kind of shoehorn it in. It feels like at the end, everybody has a role. The destiny, whether it's a thing or not, you still have to act.
And that's the only saving grace right there. It's right there.
But it's at the very end.
Yeah.
And there's nothing along the way. There's never a discussion about it. There's never anybody thinking about it or talking about it. It's never there until the very fucking end where he's like, you're going to go back in? But we're already out. He's all, hey, man, you may know what's going to happen, but it doesn't mean you don't got to do anything.
It's so close to something, but it even then, it fails. What, did you just fall? Did you die?
No, the sun was coming in.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Your quality was getting bad. Yeah, It's god awful. The movie sucked. I can't
Oh,
believe you
man.
gave it the scores that you did, but you did. And that's the way it is. And as they say in Rome,
Well, I bought the motherfucker. So
well, yeah, I mean, that's what you do. You buy shit. I mean, if it's really good, I'm buying it. Let's just say if there's a lot of more 10s coming out of me or 9s. I mean, even Mandalorian I wouldn't buy, even though it's good. Because I know I'd watch it again.
I don't know if I'd buy the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Because I have Disney Plus and go back to it. But
It'd say Disney Plus didn't exist.
but I'm wondering if because watching on Disney Plus, it says Dolby Atmos, it says 4K, it says HDR. I don't see it. It's not there. It was there when the first episode of Mandalorian came out. I watched it and I was like, wow, these colors are amazing, as sharp as fuck, and it sounds great. And then like a couple weeks later, I don't know what they did. I was like, why does it look flat now? It looks like a DVD. Or not a DVD, it looks like a Blu-ray. It didn't look as good as it did before. I don't know if they pulled back on the bandwidth because they realized
it's such a strange thing to want to watch something or buy something just to look at it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I don't know, dude, because I really do enjoy how things look and sound.
yeah, I know you do.
I don't know. It increases the engagement for me. But at the same time, I like reading comic books too, reading books. You know, if they're
You know, books and store comic books though have other than just looking at the art, you really are getting it for the story.
Yeah.
I mean, that's usually what it is. And then the material that we have here with Tenet is lacking, let's just say, by a lot. And then when you're talking Mandalorian, I could come back. I could find things in there.
Well, that's why I scored it higher on Mandalorian than on.
Of course. Because like we know that even if I didn't own Disney Plus, I would be watching it again, you know, at the end of the year. Tenet, that's not happening. I mean, that's just not happening ever.
It sounds like you're over it. You're ready to move on.
I am ready to move on. Let's call it. We did it. We did 2 fucking hours of this, and we've rated it. So if you like our podcast, what are you thinking? Yeah, unless you have another topic.
No, I'm good, dude. I'm good.
Yeah, me too. Because I got shit I gotta do too.
Yeah.
So as always, please like and subscribe. Share this shit as much as you can. Leave us a fucking review or a comment on that shit on the YouTube at Podcastforwe. If you're watching this, hey man, cool. If you're not watching this, you guys are losers. Let's just say. And as always, yeah, you fucking losers. Hey, as always, you know, be the better person you were yesterday. Don't always settle for, you know, like Tenet. Settle for Mandalorian, you know, be that person, you know. All right. Let me stop that recording.